bought a new truck and it already left me stranded.
Here is yet another issue with this truck. That is coolant all over the ground.
Hey, what's up guys? Jim Murphy here from You Break You Fix It. This time we are going to put a new part in my truck. A part that's notorious on the 2013 to I think 2015 Rams, the dreaded coolant Y pipe. Now, one thing I want to cover is you want to be very careful what you replace this with. I chose a solid piece of billet, that way there are no weak spots. There are some of these aluminum ones that you can get that have a welded on pipe over here. I would highly recommend to stay away from those. I think this was about 40 bucks more, and it's well worth the money for a solid chunk of aluminum. And the reason why I wouldn't get the welded one is because it's just another spot that can fail. I already had this failed once, and I've had this truck for less than a month. I really don't want to do this again. So I'd recommend not buying the OE part to replace it, and I'd recommend not buying anything that's not a solid piece of aluminum like this. And also we're going to use this nifty little tool. If you don't know what it is, it's a hose pinch off tool. It comes with a little locking ring there also. And what you do, and you'll see it in the video, is you cinch down over a radiator hose with this, or any hose for that matter. This one's pretty big, so it's for a radiator hose, but they make all different sizes. And it keeps the liquid at that point, so you can just remove one little tiny chunk of the cooling system or transcooler or whatever you're doing. But they're very handy for liquids, and especially if you're just swapping a part, not flushing whole system, whatever you're doing. These are really nice. They keep garage floors very clean. Alright, let's get to the video. Alright, so we're going to use these red bad boys. Start pinching off hoses. See how that crushes the hose? Lock it in place like that. Alright, I don't know what the right tool is for this job, but I'm going to use a pair of side cutters. There we go. There's one band off. You can see there's a hole in the center there, so I just snipped both sides. This one seems to be harder to get past. Oh, this here. Ring number 2. Out of all the coolant leaks to have, this is the best one to have. It's right in the top of the engine. You can see everything very easily. Now I'm just using a set of water pump pliers or channel locks to take this clamp off. I think there's a set of channel locks made by Irwin that is the best thing to use. If you're going to be a fool like me and use a screwdriver to pry the hoses off, I would recommend getting it started with a flat blade and then finishing with a Phillips. I have a radiator hose removal pick, but I just don't have it with me. I would also recommend putting a rag or a towel, or also that's why I'm using these pinch off pliers, down on top of the serpentine belt, because coolant and serpentine belts do not play well together. You'll get a squeaky belt in no time. So I'm just going to pack this towel down there before I pull the hoses apart. Your goal as you're taking these apart, especially these two fittings, you want them to be able to twist in the tube. See how it's starting to point straight up? That means that none of the hose is still essentially glued to that tube. You want to kind of work a screwdriver, or I would highly recommend getting one of those radiator hose removal tools and work that around it, so that way it's not going to tear the hose on the way out. Now that I got this nice and slipped up and moving, then I'm happy to take this out now. If you need to put any lubricant in there, or feel like you do, I would recommend only using soapy water. that's it. There are lubricants that are safe to use on rubber, but just as a safe bet, on radiator hoses and things like that, I always just use soapy water, and that works very well. All right, I finally got this plastic Y pipe out so you can see it clearly now. I still can't believe they put this in from the factory. This is like just the lightest, chintziest thing I could imagine. And then right here in this, let's see if I can get, right here in this valley is the weak spot, and that's where mine was just pouring coolant out of. All right, well, let's get the new one put in. All right, the new ones are going in. Make sure you put your hose clamps on the hose first. I almost forgot to do that. Now, I'm not really good about making stuff look pretty when I do installs like this. I kind of just put it in and make it the easiest to take back out again. Some people will like to hide this bolt on the bottom. I'm not going to worry about that at all. Look at that bad dog. All right, I'm getting the clamps all tightened up. You want to make sure, you'll see when you look at the part, the clamp has to sit in a valley that's perfectly made for the clamp, and that's just so under pressure these hoses will not pop off. So just make sure you do that, and don't go hog wild. Don't over tighten them. They just need to be good and snug. And we'll get this all finished up. All right, guys, that's it. There's a short, quick one for you today. I couldn't really get any great camera angles in there. It's just I don't have great filming equipment to get into intricate angles like that. And just go over and make sure with a wrench that those nuts are tightened. I actually had one of the lock nuts pull the nylon sleeve out of it. I've never had that happen. So keep an eye open for stuff like that. Also, run the truck, check for leaks, look underneath the truck because it might be leaking from the bottom and you can't see from the top, and just really go through it. Really go through it well. And if you did what I did and put a towel around the serpentine belt, make sure you pull that out or you're going to have one heck of a surprise when you start it up. And as always, please like and subscribe, and also hit me up in the comments below. This is a new truck to me. I have a 2014 Ram 2500 with the 6.7 liter Cummins diesel in it. I have had a Duramax for the past 10 years, and I turned every single bolt on that truck, and I knew it from bumper to bumper. And jumping into this new one, I feel like I know nothing about it. And my kids are screaming, so I gotta get going. All right, have a good one, guys. This is Jim Murphy from You Break You Fix It, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.